What's up guys, this is Storm here, and we're gonna have a little discussion in this video. I normally don't like to get involved in these type of discussions that be happening online, but I think this one needs to be done. And we're gonna be talking about the recent events that happened with the Insomniac games during the NYC Con event that happened a day or two ago. You don't know what the NYC Con event is? It's basically Marvel and DC and other comic book franchises come together to announce any project that they going on, any new trailers they're showing to the private screenings, and said release of those projects. During the event, Insomniac and Marvel Games were there to announce that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be coming to the PC. But during that time, they said there will be no story DLC coming to Marvel Spider-Man 2, which for some reason, have a lot of people up in a tizzy because of what happened in December of last year when Insomniac private information got leaked that said supposedly that a DLC was going to be in the works for Marvel Spider-Man 2, along with Beetle, and for some reason a lot of people assume Carnage also. And this is the thing that bugs me. People are mad that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is not getting a DLC just because the first game had it. But in my opinion, the DLC for Marvel Spider-Man that came out in 2018, that was announced way before the game even released. So I'm like, when did Insomniac said Marvel Spider-Man 2 was going to have any type of DLC? And of course, when you bring that up, people like to bring up the so-called leak of the timeline of the games that are going to be launching for Insomniac. And when I looked at the said leak, it turns out it was actually a fan-made one that had Carnage DLC, Beetle DLC, and supposedly the Chameleon was also going to be part of it. So when I found out it was a fan made, I went to look for the actual one that was supposedly in the leak, and this was the one I found. Now this is what I found for the leak. Marvel Spider-Man 2 released 2023. A supposed standalone Venom game is coming out in 2025. Wolverine 2026. Ratchet & Clank, and supposed X-Men game, and sometime new title after that. So I'm confused. Where did the DLC was ever in the works set for? Like, it could be argued there was maybe some form of DLC was gonna happen, but they probably most likely decided just to put that in the next game instead of shifting focus from the next Spider-Man game or the next standalone Spider-Man game to do a DLC, because that's gonna take up resources and time to do. And in my opinion, I think I'm happy that I'm not upset that there's no DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2, because I'm just gonna be thinking, alright, they put all their focus into the next game instead of breaking off in a small group that's focusing on DLC while the rest of the teammates are working on the game. I want everybody hands on deck for the next game. And since the people who did the Miles Morales one is doing the Wolverine game, the ones who did the Marvel 2018, they either could be focusing on the standalone Venom game or Marvel Spider-Man 3. And I'm all for that. So people are saying that Insomniac fall off because they didn't do this DLC. It's freaking ridiculous. Ever since Marvel Spider-Man 2 came out, I've been seeing people just hating the game just for the sake of hating it. Of course, everybody's entitled for their opinion. You could say it wasn't as good as the first one. Alright, that's all fine and dandy. But just because a DLC is not coming out for the game, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is just even more trash. Like, I'm not a biased person. I'm picky when it comes to certain games. And for the year 2023, Marvel Spider-Man 2 was in my top 5 favorite games for that year. And shoot, I still enjoy it even now. Like, I love the characters, the world, and I like the what song I had to work with it. And of course, some people say, well, the leaks did show a DLC. But you want to know the funny thing is, when people use the leaks for the DLC that supposedly that was in Insomniac was going to be worked on, this is another thing that Insomniac said that people like to look over when it comes to this discussion. Like, people like to use every single information that was in the leaked document from Insomniac, but they always looked over this one. Insomniac Games said that some of the leaks from the December 2023 breach are old. So, with that being said, for all we know, that whole Beetle type of thing, he's gonna be in the next game. Because, like truly think about it. You don't think it'll be a little bit weird that Beetle just randomly appeared with no setup to him? Like, because when it came to the Marvel Spider-Man 2018 game, we got 3 story DLCs. And by the looks of what people were saying, we were only going to get 1 DLC that evolved with freaking Beetle. Like, if they was going to bring in another character villain, I would like a proper setup. Like, honestly, in my opinion, like for Carnage, yeah, we got a setup to him during the Wraith side story mission. Alright, he's most likely gonna be in the 3rd game. And freaking Tombstone for the Marvel 2018 game, the 3 DLCs were only focusing on him. And in my opinion, Beetle is not that big of a villain that you need 3 DLCs focused on him. Tombstone is a pretty big character in the Spider-Man universe, especially how big of a mob boss he is compared to the other mob family. So I think it would be perfectly fine just to have Beetle appear in either, maybe in the standalone Venom game, but more than likely Spider-Man 3. Because for all we know, so far the villains that we're potentially getting in Spider-Man 3 is Green Goblin and Doc Ock. We don't know anybody else. Supposedly we might get Carnage also, so it could be interesting how they gonna do all 3. I did saw somebody say like they falling off because they barely like they were saying Insomniac couldn't handle Venom and Craven in the same story. Like, of course I could say like the Venom section, the Venom section when you play as him, yeah, it felt like I wish I could play as him longer, but it did perfectly fine. Like, how you could say Insomniac fall when they literally did the Sinister Six, Doc Ock, and Mr. Negative, and shoot, and not only that, they also did with Tombstone. So, I don't know, like, I guess people really have high expectation with Insomniac games. I do also, but I think people just really hate the facility just because they've been quiet on their announcement when it comes to their games. Like, people still waiting for like the announcement for the Venom game. People still waiting for an update for Wolverine, which I totally get. Like, but in this day and age in the gaming community, I think ever since the pandemic, certain people who never been into the games is starting to get a voice, and it's basically ruining a proper gaming discussion. And that's how I truly feel on the whole thing. So with that being said, Insomniac, keep doing what you're doing. Show us when you're ready to show something, and don't listen to those ones that are just hating just for the sake of hate. And it's kind of sad I'm doing this type of video on the 1-year anniversary of Marvel Spider-Man 2 release. And with that being said, I'm gonna hop back on that game and web swing. So This is your boy Storm. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.